My name's Maria Lombardo. Sage is accompanying me tonight. My husband may be in the lobby, and oh, there he is. Oh, hi, Paul. I thought you were one of the North Enders. I'm sorry.
Original, I'm an original.
Basil apologizes for not being here tonight. He's like, he's our fish guy, so he gets up at 5. I didn't know if I was supposed to have handouts when they were presented at the zoning meeting, but essentially, this is the current operation of Full Bay Cafe, which is at 65 Atlantic, opposite the sail loft, and it is surrounded by the cobblestone walkway that connects Commercial West and Golden Goose Market at the end, and on the Atlantic side with the Prince Building. My son Sage actually is the one that came across this as an opportunity that was for sale by the current owner. He bought it from Golden Goose Cafe 18 months ago. Tried to maintain it as a breakfast and lunch operation unsuccessfully, and also due to personal family issues. The Daily Catch has been on Hanover Street for 47 years. My husband is a born native of the North End, along with his 3 sisters. His parents came from Sicily. We've been privileged to be married for 36 years, and we have 7 children, all sons. They all work for us, and we also operate a fish processing and food commissary facility on the Boston Fish Pier. We most recently closed our Seaport restaurant we had for 16 years at the local federal courthouse after 2-year leases. And prior to that, we operated on Northern Avenue opposite the former Jimmy's Harborside, and we were there for 20 years also. So we are now a displaced restaurant family in Boston and the Seaport. We have tried for 18 months to find a location, unsuccessful for many different reasons. We're not a coffee shop, we're not fast casual, we're not fancy schmancy martini bars, whatever. For whatever reason, we're not fitting the description of what they want. Or because we're seafood and there's seafood exclusions or leases that we can't be there because there's already a seafood restaurant. I don't understand that concept in the fish district. They should all be seaport restaurants, but there's also a lot of steakhouses. Anyways, to fast forward, we've been negotiating with Colby Cafe, or the Golden Goose Cafe LLC, which is the operator. We're in discussions with the landlord, which is a trust of those 2 properties, and the private way that connects them. And we haven't signed a lease yet. We were fortunate enough to attend the other neighborhood group on Tuesday evening, and we received unanimous support from them. That was very encouraging to me. It helps our hard efforts all these years. It makes us feel good. We're not really trying to do anything other than just have a restaurant that offers lunch and dinner service. We don't like to close between lunch and dinner. There's people, it's hard to find a place that is open after 3 or doesn't open again until 5, and so we've always been of the mindset that we serve from lunch through dinner. I'd like to think that we're more of a family restaurant. We serve 5 generations of families, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, the grandparents that used to bring their grandchildren in, and we've been fortunate to see 5 generations grow. So we have an existing wine, beer, and cordial license that we've held in South Boston since 1983. We transferred that to the local courthouse location, and we're hoping to transfer it so that it can be used produce revenue for us. Right now, it's not producing revenue. We're reviewing that next week for $2,400 again. And this is where we hope to transfer it to. The menu will be the same as the menu we offer on Hanover Street that we offer in the Seaport. We also operate a deli catch in Brookline in the Orthodox Jewish section. We've been there for 27 years, 441 Harvard Street. That also is a neighborhood, residential neighborhood with storefront retail. We understand that there's some concerns from the neighbors, and certainly all of you are entitled to have concerns. In my defense, I can only say that for 46 years we have operated a respectable and responsible business. We're sympathetic to neighbors. We enjoy the hospitality business. And we hope that this is a place that the neighbors themselves can enjoy. We discussed if we would take reservations here. Currently, the floor plan that we have the architect did the walkthrough would allow for a 70-person capacity, which includes the staff that would be working there. So that was roughly 56 seats. We wanted to put a small service bar. Often you have a single come in that wants to eat, doesn't want to sit at a table, or likes to talk to the person that's behind the counter. So we are planning on implementing that into the design. There has been discussion with the current landlord that perhaps if the other tenant on the first floor was to retire or leave, if the restaurant would consider taking the entire first floor. That's a discussion that's been going on. We've made no determination if that's what we would like, and likewise, there's been no determination that they would approve us as a new tenant if we don't take it. So we're kind of at a crossroads there. It's a big decision for us. We didn't necessarily want to go in there and have a 70-seat restaurant. And we're going to see what that space looks like tomorrow. So it may actually make the space nicer and more comfortable, and could actually therefore accept more reservations as opposed to portions of the tables or seats that we would reserve for people that just came by as walk-ins. The courtyard, the private way courtyard in the back has cobblestone and has brick pavers. The brick pavers are more of a pedestrian egress along the exits of all the buildings that are abutting it. And we thought it would be a nice amenity to offer a cafe patio in the back and put nicer plantings into the planters that are there. There's trees in each of the 3 planters right now, and bring a little bit of, life to that courtyard. Right now, there's just a lot of cigarette butts on it, and we thought that that would be a nicer alternative. Let me see. We do have a floor plan I can leave up here if you want to come up and look at it after or not. We can pass it around. We did supply it to Victor.
Yes, they were. The full plan was an attachment to the ZLC agenda, so anyone without the ZLC agenda doesn't floor plan.
So this is the outdoor picture of what it looks like now, and this is our proposed awning, that we would like to have an awning. This is a very peculiar part of Atlantic and Commercial. It's at like a 60-degree angle, and I know in driving, you're looking to stay on the road, and we just want to make sure that they can visually identify that that's where we are, and that for safety reasons, and it's also because it's part of our trade dress. Our awnings are part of our trade dress. I think it's nice for a cityscape feel to have awnings also. I don't know, we haven't gotten back any response yet on what our projection can be from the building. Typically it does match other existing awnings in the building or that block, so that's to be determined. And here's the courtyard. For those of you that haven't walked over at that end of town lately.
So are you going to put tables through the courtyard from Atlantic Ave to Commercial Street?
Well,
Or just in the
when
front?
you're at the front entrance to it and it's a tapered building, this is all brick paver, which Mike, the gym workout is on the left and we're on the right. And so that's a brick area.
Yep.
So our proposal is where there's cobblestone, not where the brick is.
So it's between the two buildings?
Yes.
Down here, okay.
It would be, what's called commercial walkway.
So maybe we're being able to walk through that area together.
Oh, yes, that whole, on the other side of the planters is all brick pavers, and that would all be for walking. And of the 3 planters that are there now, there's a bench on that side and on the other side, and you know, we would have to have a small waiter's stand, and you know, they have the POS tablets now, and all that jazz.
Would you still be able to walk through the area with the tables?
Yes, yeah. Well, yeah.
didn't-
No, there would be tables, and then there would be where you would walk through to sit at the table.
Okay, so if you weren't
Right.
eating there, you can still walk through, so you'll have the
Well,
brick on the side and then.
technically with alcohol use there, they would have to, you can have a 3-foot open.
Down the middle. Is that what your idea was?
No, it has to be cordoned off.
Oh, yeah.
It has to be cordoned off.
The, I don't understand. So if I'm walking down the street and I want to cut through there, and the brick thing is not all that wide, and I want to walk through it on the cobblestones, no, that's not possible. Is that what you're saying, or?
Well, you don't have to pay a nickel. Is that what you're asking?
No, when you say, when you say you had to coordinate, because if you have the liquor.
Right. Right. So you'd be walking through the cafe. I mean, I personally don't have a problem with you doing that. I personally don't have a problem with you doing that.
Oh, okay, so it's not going to be blocked from the street with court.
No, it cannot be permanently blocked. It cannot. And it's also only in the summer months. From, we spoke of this with Maria. Here it is. So this is the current plan, and the space in the front is current.
So you won't be able to walk.
Commercial Street.
Yeah, got it.
Or down by the booths, or down by.
Yeah, from here to here.
Oh, this means to this building.
Just do this section. And then that's,
So that's all considered private property.
yes.
Public property.
It's owned by the owners of the, yes.
Yes. So we have an example of this outside dining at the Chinese restaurant right around the corner.
Billy C's.
The former
Billy C.
Jasper White.
Yeah. What they did was basically commandeer public right-of-way and walking for their tables. And it's certainly possible to go through there if you put yourself in this position and just walk straight in and not look either way.
Well, that's
I
not
don't think that's a
comfortable.
good
That's
use.
not comfortable.
That's not comfortable. And, you know, there were all sorts of red flags that went off with that picture in mind when we were talking about the outside dining. How do we have a sense that you are going to do like American Joe's and keep those tables off of the public property?
What do you mean off the public property?
Well, we have a nice walk past American Joe's going down into the park.
We're not talking about the sidewalk on Atlantic Avenue.
I'm talking about that as an example where somebody has taken their outside eating area and put it on clearly private land that was not designed to be
Well, I
parked.
can't I can't personally speak to what they're doing. I'm not familiar with what they're doing.
Well, but the concern here is that you may be encroaching on a public way. That's the concern that's being raised. Can you speak to that? Yeah.
Well, that has to go before the city of Boston, so, I mean.
But are you gonna try to get that through? To put your tables on?
We'd like to be able to put tables out for 20 or 30 people. We absolutely would like to do that. I think it would make it look very nice as a space for use and be enjoyed in the months of April through October. We're not trying to close off that. You know, it is used for people that walk through as opposed to the sidewalk.
I'm confused though, just to clarify.
Yeah.
The tables will be going within the alley, not on the sidewalk on the
No, no, in the
In
back,
the alley.
yes,
And that
between the two
alley
buildings.
is private property.
Yes, yes. No, just abutting our premises.
I live in the first one, there's mostly apartments over there. There's probably this much of brick. And there's a huge dumpster. So anyway, the big people, the tenant that's there now, they have some tables outside. The very small, because it's like a huge dumpster.
Well, I don't suspect that they'll be in front of the dumpster. The dumpster has doors that have to be open. There was also a concern that the garbage smells, and I said, well, perhaps the receptacles just need to be washed as opposed to just being empty. It's something that we're proposing we'd like to do. Is it going to be a deal breaker for us? It might be. It might be a deal breaker for us because it's something that we enjoy. We have lots of patrons that enjoy outdoor seating. It reminds you of being in Sicily or Italy or Vienna or anywhere else.
But you don't have a plan showing that layout.
The architect is working on it. We're going back there tomorrow with them. So that's part of the measurements for tomorrow.
How many tables outside? How many seats?
That's what we're trying to determine for tomorrow. Right. And again, it would just be seasonal seating as part of the City of Boston's ordinance that it's, and you know, the sidewalks itself on Atlantic Avenue have to be at least a minimum of 8 feet. And if it was 12 feet, then you could put a table where the 4-foot part is. So, I mean, that pretty much precludes all of Hanover Street from having outdoor seating because those sidewalks are only 6 feet wide.
And all the service for that area will come out onto the public walk.
Well, the entrance to that building, as I said, is tapered. So there's double doors that open into the restaurant itself. And there is a covered portico that has 3 entrances from the front, from the side on Atlantic, from the side on the back way. So the service could come out and go to the right and it wouldn't be even a foot on Atlantic Avenue. It would just go directly to that.
I have another question. Also, if I'm coming from commercial going to Atlantic, so I'll be looking at is a brick space there.
When you serve somebody in this.
How wide is that?
I believe
Where,
yes, it's like 10 feet wide on the other side.
Not on the left side. On the side going, that's not, so you're saying on the right side coming from commercial to Atlantic?
Somebody who's serving, one of the waiters, going out and carrying.
If I get one of my.
Okay, I'm sorry. No, it's all right.
Others, yeah. Others have any questions? Yes.
Is there,
She was looking for something.
Show the,
I think that picture is,
It's floating
making
around.
its way around.
I'm sorry, you had a question? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, my question was,
The dumpster.
I see the hours, I see it's 1 AM. I mean, there's neighbors on both sides, you know, over the gooseneck, there's some neighbors on the other side. They may be serving till 1 AM in the morning in the summer hours.
Yeah, what are the hours that you?
Well, the existing license that we have transferred is a 1 AM license. It was not often, we were open past 11 PM. the evening. There were special occasions, if there was a convention in town, or a rehearsal dinner or whatever. Hanover Street, also our restaurant there, has a 1 a.m. license, and again, it's unusual that we're open after 11. There's no,
That doesn't have outdoor seating.
right, well, the outdoor seating would have different operational hours. That's common in any outdoor seating, in any town or any city. We have yet to find out what that would be, so I don't know if it's 11 or if it would be 10 o'clock in the summer for outdoor seating. There's no cafes in this area of town. We kind of got off easy on Hanover Street because somebody can have their dinner with us and then they can go to any one of 6 different cafes. So if somebody wants to have dessert or cappuccinos or a Verna or a Amaro after dinner, that's why we would look to try to stay open until 11 or 12 o'clock at night, just so that we can get through the dessert service portion of the day.
And would food be required to, in order to have alcohol outside? That's usually how it's done.
Well, I don't know, I mean, every day in Sicily at 2 o'clock, we stopped in the outdoor cafe and had our Aperol spritzers.
That's
We also did end up buying food with it, but it wasn't, it's not my impression that it has to be, it's mandatory to do that.
For Joe's to have, if they're gonna have alcohol outside, to serve the food.
I'm not familiar with that, but thank you, I'll look into that.
He's just having a daughter's ask questions right now.
Yeah, I did ask for a butter. So, any other butters?
Yes.
Yes,
Cheryl, are we to vote on this when we don't have the plans for the outside seating and we're not sure what time they're closing?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be hard to vote on. I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like that
the inside
Also, I did have a, I'm sorry,
No,
I
go
did have
ahead.
a question about how many seats. You said 56 or maybe 70, so can you be more specific about that?
Yeah, so just to be clear, initially, we were hoping this would be advertised for the November 20th hearing of the City of Boston transfer. There has been delays in this process. We were able to do the zoning meeting 2 weeks ago. We came through and did the meeting 2 nights ago, and we decided to keep this meeting in Target. Between that time and this time, we've gotten feedback from the landlord that's expressed us in wanting to rent the whole place. So, like I said, it may unhinge the whole thing, and we may not even pursue it. And maybe it is premature, maybe we have to come back in front of your group in a month. But it would be for 70 seats.
Okay.
And what we would put into the space, if we got extra space, is probably a walk-in cooler and a handicap bathroom. So that's part of the 2 things that we would be interested in putting in if we took over the whole space.
I'm sorry, interrupted, you said.
No, but
And I
that's,
do have my proposed hours. My proposed hours is the transfer of the license to stop service at 1 a.m.
right.
Of course, that's seasonal, it may not be that late. And that's not on the patio, the patio would have earlier closing hours.
But that was my point, it was about the outside. You
Yeah,
weren't
the
sure if it was-
outside.
You weren't sure if it was 10 or 11.
Well, I think in our previous 2 meetings, we discussed that during the week it would be 10 p.m. and on the weekends it would be 11.
Could be.
On a
No,
patio.
I think that's what the recommendation is. It's not could be, I think that's
No,
what.
I'm not, sorry,
Yeah.
please don't get, I'm using your words. You said to me, could be, so I'm just repeating what you said.
Right, so that was, the general consensus was, if we were amenable to it being 10 p.m. during the week and 11 on weekends.
So just to recap, we don't know the plans for outside. It could be 11 o'clock outside closing, and we're not sure if you're taking the whole first floor, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so there's 3 things that we don't have a definitive answer.
Yes, but
So
for tonight-
please, Cheryl, how are we supposed to vote on something when we don't have the answers to
I
it?
don't think we can. I don't think we can. vote
My
if we
meeting,
don't.
my meeting here tonight is not for the whole space. My meeting here tonight is for exactly the floor plan that I passed around, which is exactly the floor plan that we presented at the zoning meeting. So nothing has changed with that. I'm just out of courtesy sharing with you that there's been an expression if we wanted to take the whole space, in which case it's very possible we would then come back to everyone saying, okay, we've made progress and now we are going to take the whole space. I'm only doing it out of consideration in anticipation if that should happen. I didn't want you to think that I came in for this and then we're doing that. So it's,
Yeah.
Cheryl, what's gonna happen to the restaurant on Hanover Street, anything?
hopefully if we can open this one up, we can close that and give it its sorely needed renovation.
So we don't have to dodge the line, huh?
No, it has to be renovated.
Kathy had her hand up, one second. Go ahead,
I
Kathy.
am Kathy McDonald from the Prince Building. Just wanted to tell everyone that on October 28th, the Prince Building trustees invited the Fedoras to meet with us to discuss a few of our concerns that we've heard from our residents. We discussed directing the waiting line down the passageway between Commercial Wharf West and 65 Atlantic Avenue. A lot of the residents were specifically concerned that the waiting line would run along Atlantic Avenue. Definitely. They agreed to that. We had some questions about the ventilation, the signage. We didn't want something different. We wanted a similar size and lighting source. They agreed to that. We asked about the awnings on the Atlantic Avenue windows. We didn't want them to extend out too far. Currently, there is one awning on the Atlantic Avenue side at the Cold Bay Restaurant that extends, looks like it's about 24 inches, I'm not sure. And we asked the Fedoras to agree to not put any new awnings that extend further than that, and they agreed to that. You know, we just don't want to encourage people who are waiting in the rain in the passageway to hang out at the front of the building. We're just trying to keep that I mean, awnings are fine because it's usually landmarking or something, but they agreed to that. That was great. We asked questions about their front windows, their business hours, trash pickup, all of that. They agreed to nearly all of our requests, which we were happy about, but we'd still like to have them close the restaurant by 10 p.m. on Sunday through Thursday nights and by 11 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. And gentleman over here just brought up Billy C's, which has outdoor seating too, and they close at 10:30 Sunday through Thursday and at 11 on Saturday and Sunday. We also asked the Fedoras to limit alcohol service to be only in conjunction with food service. Their current plans show only 6 bar seats, which seems like an insignificant number. But the Prince Building trustees are wary of this policy of serving alcohol without food service because, and Maria did bring this up just now, they could someday expand into the space currently home to laser enhanced therapy, and then possibly try to upgrade to a full liquor license. With all that additional space, the bar area could expand considerably and become more of a drinking establishment than it would be with the space. They would have probably space for maybe 100 seats, I don't know. But it would be a very different animal than would be possible at this 56-seat location. And this is concerning to us. So we urge the Fedoras to reconsider their closing hours and their policy of serving alcohol without food service. While we can give our outright support to this transfer, considering the 2 outstanding issues, the Prince Building trustees do not oppose it.
Thank you very much. And may I just, I did not say we were going to go for a full liquor license here. I said we are continuing our search for a new home in the Seaport where we were for 36 years. And because we're transferring this license to the Waterfront, we would have to seek a new license for the Seaport, which may be an all liquor license, not for this location here. And the service bar area, if it changed should we take the whole space, would still be a small 6 or 7 person counter. And again, the additional space would give us the opportunity to put a walk-in cooler and a handicap toilet.
On the back.
Dave Roderick, North End. Just a quick question. You said tomorrow you're going to check with the architect about the possibility about the patio. And I look at those pictures, it's hard to tell, but it looks like that maybe want to be maintained as a fire aisle, fire lane between the buildings.
It's not wide enough.
Not wide enough
to get
at that end?
put down the
Okay.
outbreaks.
All right, because I
And
wasn't...
even if it could come out and lift the ladder, you can't swing across, there's too many trees in the way, so.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not, I can't imagine a fire truck.
So the city wouldn't be,
Operable
there wouldn't be a
inside of that.
problem with the city with the fire?
There would still be maintained a fire egress
Yeah,
for
okay.
the buildings. There's
abutters.
there's egress plans for every building. So everybody needs to know which door they're coming out and which way they're going. And those egresses would certainly be unobstructed.
Yeah, so your patio ideas...
Including the egress from our building. We also have to unobstruct that as well.
So the architect, when you're discussing the patio for some future, wouldn't be obstructed for the fire lanes and so on?
Right.
Egress.
Egress.
That's correct. That's
Fire
correct.
safety egress.
That's correct.
Okay.
So the patio has cobblestone feature, and then it has a brick sidewalk feature, which is the main egress sidewalk for butters to exit out of the building as well as pedestrians to pass through. We're only proposing using the section of the cobblestone that directly abuts the restaurant to the natural shape of it. And that's the designated area that would include any tables and chairs. We're not proposing to do any outdoor bars. And alcohol service will in fact be with food service, just to clarify that question.
Yeah,
And the other questions that are needed for vote regarding the hours of operation, we're proposing the alcohol service going until 11 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and midnight on Friday and Saturday. And the outdoor patio alcohol service 1 hour earlier. So the alcohol service on the patio, per request from the Prince Building, ending at 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and ending at 11 p.m. Friday and Saturday. Also regarding the service of alcohol with food on the patio being that a requirement, yes, as well to respond to their concerns. Those were our responses to their feedback, including those are suitable. We're not a drinking establishment where we serve fried calamari and homemade pasta. We're not a dive bar. This is a place people go with their families, as my mother mentioned, for many generations. We also serve wine and beer and some cocktails in this location to accompany the meal. The seating at the bar is no more than 8 seats. We have somewhere between 6 and 8 seats, and the total seating for the inside of the establishment is currently at 56 to 58.
The architect established a 70-person occupancy. Drawings.
72.
So we have to decide if we're going to go. Are there any more questions
So,
from
yes,
butters? Dave,
I
I
will
think
answer
have
your
one.
questions
I
if
just want to
you
make
have.
a
Yes.
point that,
Go ahead, please.
when it comes to zoning matters and licensing matters, NEWRA does not vote on concepts or plans even. We vote on what is in the license application. So I just want everyone to be clear on what we might be voting on. What is in the license application that you have filed? Anything additional to that would require a license modification, and you'd have to come back to the community. Is the agenda accurate in terms of what is in the application and what we might be voting on? And it says 56 seats, you've mentioned that, and it also says seasonal outdoor. Is that in the application, seasonal outdoor? I are you getting permission from the licensing board, seeking permission from the licensing board to serve alcohol on the patio?
To extend our serving license to outdoor
And
seating.
yet they don't require,
Seasonal.
they don't
It's not part of
require,
your license, it's an outdoor, it becomes a seasonal addition to the
and
existing
they don't
license.
require a number of seats to be identified in the
That,
application.
that has to do with fire egress, they have to make sure there's egress standards for it.
Okay. So then the description, Victor?
Yes?
In the agenda is in fact accurate as to the application that we might be voting on.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's 11
Well,
o'clock.
I have a
AM
question
closing
about
hour.
that, because it seems that in the past that we've had restaurants come before us that they have an alcohol license, as you do, till 1 AM, but you modify in writing your intention.
Well, and let me speak to that, because
yes.
we've dealt with this a lot. It is unlikely that the licensing board would reduce the hours that are currently in the license.
Right.
So there's a difference between the licensed hours, which are in fact 8 AM to 11 PM. Sorry,
To 1 a.m.
8 AM to 1 AM, 7 days a week. Those are the licensed hours. And legally, they'd be able to operate in accordance with those hours. But they are saying that they will only operate to the hours that Sage mentioned earlier.
Right, we're electing to do that. In the winter, it's not unlike a restaurant to close at 10.
We
They're not gonna stay
we
here.
certainly should, if we support this,
Yes.
we certainly should state the commitment by the owner to operate only to the hours that were stated. But that doesn't mean that that's going to be the license
license. Do we
restriction.
need to wait till the license, till they get the license update? No,
The licensed hours are not going to change. I've never seen the licensing board reduce the hours in a license. Because that gets at the value of the license.
Yeah. Your recommendation.
That would be 11 PM on weeknights and midnight on weekends, inside, and during the seasonal patio hours, an hour sooner. So 10 PM weeknights, no more service on the patio, and on weekend nights, no more service after 11 PM,
This is their response to Jen.
which I believe is similar to Joe's. I'm not sure their patio restriction, but we are offering to do 1 hour earlier than the inside. So we'll be cutting off the patio 1 hour before the
If I
inside.
may, I'd like to make a motion that the members who can vote do vote now using ballot number 1, am I correct?
You can use one, yeah.
Using ballot number 1 and vote to either support or oppose the license application as defined in the agenda.
I second it.
I mean, I just went back one question for condominium. Is that what you had suggested for hours?
No, we did ask for 10 o'clock closing during the week and 11 o'clock on Monday.
On the outside or the inside, sorry. They said outside is 10, closing weekdays
We
and
didn't
11.
specify inside or outside, everything.
Oh, everything, okay.
Can you specify you have to serve black squid and pasta with a good girlfriend?
We all just remember that patio or the cobblestone area is actually a mess right now. And it's filled with cigarette butts and people just sit in there and smoke. So it's not being used for any constructive purpose right now. And if you walk around the north end at 10 PM any night of the week, a lot of restaurants are pretty empty. So I think we just need to look at what's going on there today as well. And there's definitely some neighborhood concerns, but there's also neighborhood concerns of when I walk to the gym, I have to deal with smoke. So that's not an ideal situation either.
And our restaurant here, Hanover Street has a 1 AM license, but I mean, you can go there at 10:30 or 11 o'clock and they're gonna be empty. So they're cleaning up to go home, it's been a long day.
Okay, we have to vote because it's 8:30 and Aaron's here. So please vote and we'll collect your ballots. 22, 14 opposed.
Overwhelming.
Thank you.
Congratulations.